Digital threats can harm organisations significantly, especially C-level management when dealing with sensitive data on a daily basis. That's why Cyforgate offers Digital Bodyguard, a digital monitoring solution to protect C-level management for digital threats. This solution is not just a reactivate security solution, but continuously monitors data sources, so threats can be detected even before they occur. Want to know more about this solution? Please check our website. If your organisation cooperates with multiple suppliers, you want to be sure that you're dealing with reliable partners, from ethical, financial, competitiveness, but also from a compliance point of view. That's why Cyforgate offers supply chain monitoring, a continuously digital monitoring solution to control the reliability of existing and new suppliers, based on ethics, judicial position, and board strategy. This solution incorporates international law, regulations, and the corporate code of ethics related to supply chain partners. Want to know more about this solution? Check our website.
Dear ICCS members and friends, good afternoon and welcome to this webinar session on how to succeed in the digital transformation. My name is Carola Capone and I'm the Marketing Executive at ICCS. Once again, welcome to everyone. Today's webinar is organized in partnership with ICCS member New Value Group and Cyforgate on the Electronica Group. On the New Value side, we will be having as speaker Gianluca Anguzza and Marco Brozzetti, while on the Cyforgate side, we will have Andrea Melegari and Enrico Fazio. Before leaving the floor to the speakers today, I just would like to remind you all that the Q&A session will be held at the end of the presentation, but if at any point during the webinar you feel like to type in any question, feel free to do so in the chat below. Now, without any further ado, I shall now leave the word to Gianluca, who will start the conversation today. Hi, Gianluca.
Hello.
Yes, today
Good
Gianluca
afternoon.
and Marco will be connecting together.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you.
Good afternoon for the people connected from Asia, from APAC region, and good morning for the people connected from Europe. My name is Gianluca Anguzza, Chairman and CEO in New Value Group in Singapore. Thank you, Carola, and thank you, ICCS, for the organization of this event. And of course, thank you to Cyforgate and the colleagues that are our partner from Cyforgate. So I will briefly introduce very quickly a very quick presentation about New Value Group, and afterwards we will go into more detail on the topics and the arguments. In this webinar, you will see that we will also submit to you some questions, a very quick and easy survey that will help the understanding and the let me say argumentation of some topics. So is this one okay? Just few seconds, we are opening the presentation, the introduction. So New Value Group is composed by 3 business lines, and we have 3 companies in Italy and 1 in Singapore for the APAC region, which is New Value Group Private Limited. Our 3 business lines are New Value for managing consultancy, supply chain strategy and operation excellence. Of course, within this, we also supply consultancy and training through our New Value Lean Academy, which now is being developed into Innovation Center as we introduce all the digitalization concept, as well as in our group services. We have integrated also a solution integration, a solution integrator, which is Lean Lab Solution, and a digitalization company, which is Value Digit. Our, let me say, strategy is to provide 360 degrees turnkey solution to have the performance enhancement. Very briefly, the group started to operate from 2003, when the first company, New Value, in Italy was founded. And in this 18 years, we developed worldwide. We have a worldwide experience, and these are few numbers. We operate in 5 continents, more than 34 countries. We don't have won't get you boring with the number of customers, but these are the numbers of all the programs and the sites that we touch worldwide. As we are here in Asia and we are hosted by our friends in APAC region, these are some, let me say very quickly, some reference, a few pics of our customer. We operate in automotive and appliances, in fashions, in medical device sector, industry, in food, and in other industries that you can see also here, pharmaceutical and so and so. Regarding our presence in APAC, we are in more than 11 countries. Here we don't have mentioned the Turkey, which is a very important country for us. And here again, we can see also the different type of industry that we serve in all the region. As I was telling before, Carola now will launch a mini survey with 2 questions with multiple answers that we kindly ask you to return to us. This is visible, and you can scroll down also the second question. This will help because in the first topic, in the first part of our webinar, we can have the result of your answer to understand the key factor in an effective and proper digitalization journey. Now, I have the pleasure to leave the speech to Enrico Fazio, which will briefly introduce CipherGate. Thank you very much.
Welcome to everybody. Thanks for participating to this webinar. I am Enrico Fazio, Chief Commercial Officer of CipherGate. Thanks for the Chamber of Commerce for organizing this webinar. I just stealing you a few minutes for presenting the proposal of CipherGate. What is CipherGate? CipherGate is a company, a young company, so it was founded in 2015. And we are now in a public company, so in the stock exchange, for the 36% of our value. And our mission is to work in the part of cyber intelligence and cyber security. Our motto is cyber tranquility. Why? Because usually when everybody talks about cyber, we feel like a terrorism attack. So as we are dealing with this matter and we know how to manage the issue and the opportunity, because they are not only issue but also opportunity, we like to call our company as the one that will support you in navigating the digital transformation, giving you cyber tranquility. So what we offer, I hope you see my slides. So we are in both the column of our products. So cyber intelligence, cyber security. For cyber security, this is almost easy to be understood. So what we offer are one product is RTA, is a CM that is evolving in a SOAR. So something that helps the company to protect the system for the attack, for the cyber attacks. From the other side, we've got cyber intelligence that is a very promising market. We are working on the matter since 5 years, and we have got a product called Kipo that now has been oriented by Gartner, that is working with us to give to the market the best solution, and it is presented to the market of the enterprises only 1 year. Why? Because as you can imagine, navigating the thousands of information that are available on open source is absolutely boosting the market, the counterpart analysis, the brand reputations, and so on. So thanks to be here. I look forward to receive information for you, and I hope that this webinar will be successful for you. Thank you.
Thank you to Enrico. I think now it's still turn for Gianluca, right? You would like to share the results of the poll?
Yes, of course. We can see now we introduce the first topic. And the first thing we thought that can be useful to share with you is to understand the key factors in a digital transformation, in a digital experience. So, and here we can discuss, if you can kindly, Carola, can then after during this speech we can understand which are the main results and the answers, so we can have a reference on what we will focus. So which are the key? Oh, thank you very much. By our, let me say, experience in these first years, we can see that basically the benefit, the area of benefit for the digital transformation can have two major area of impact. The competitive advantage, which is mostly impacting the result on our market and customers, and what we can very, very generally call cost reduction, which is mostly, of course, reflecting into the internal organization efficiency, especially on supply chain and manufacturing production, but not only that. If we can go ahead. No, sorry. Okay, so let's start from the advantage benefit in terms of competitiveness. If we talk about the traditional, I mean traditional, what was before the fourth industrial revolution brought by Industry 4.0, we mostly the company for decades were dominated by the focus and on the cost reduction and efficiency and increase of productivity. Here we can have a larger strategy. The larger strategy allows us to have a focus on not only with the internal efficiency, but also the increase of revenues, the increase of market share, the increase of our business, and this can be brought by a more effective time to market management, which allow you through the digital transformation to have a reduction of the time to market that produce a quicker response, a capacity to be more competitive, because we can arrive on time without an unbelievable and huge effort to to develop new solution. And this point is also linked to the connection to the customer, which is the fourth that you can see on the bottom of this chart. These work together, and the connection with the customer work at the beginning of the life cycle, when we have to understand the marketing strategy and also the product development strategy, but also during the regular, let me say, marketing of our product, which can provide us in real time a huge number, a huge amount of data. Of course, this combined to the capacity to have a higher level of product customization can produce unbelievable results, which was not possible with the other technique like Lean or WCM or other or Agile. Also alone they cannot produce this benefit. So what we want to understand is also how to use the 4.0 not only for the internal efficiency and to have a better usage or utilization of our assets, but also to produce a better result in terms of business, as well as for the new way we can create a new way to make business. That is, for instance, the third point: new product and new marketing, especially the frontiers given by the servitization. We have many examples where, thanks to the digitalization, we will not more market and sell out product, but services. So on the side of the cost reduction benefit, this data comes from, let me say, a large analysis that were conducted worldwide. And are the typical data we expect to have savings and where we expect to have efficiency, starting from manpower, machine quality, inventory management, supply and demand, and service. Of course, this can be helped by new technique and new capacity that were, and technology, of course, that were not thought to be, let me say, put in place 10 years ago, and that, by the way, need to be further developed. What, as this can be our wishes from both business development standpoint and internal savings and efficiency achievement. Why, in the current experience, there are some years that the 4.0 conversion and transformation is in place, and we have a huge number of cases of challenge and projects and programs to aim this target. Why can we fail? We have collected through our our experience and the benchmark analysis some and clusterized some possible area where we can fail, and we put this in terms of questions, and on this one we can see how this can be related to your answer and the questions that we submitted to you. For instance, do we have a strategy? In many cases, when the digital transformation in the Industry 4.0 was introduced, the company sometimes, also the top level of the company, forget about the strategy. They want to make this journey, but is this linked to the strategy? Are we following the corporate strategy, and are we using the digital transformation to make it possible? This is something that sometimes is forgotten. The people say, okay, I want to be digitalized, but how this contribute to my strategy? Sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes it's not even considered. How are we starting from data or from equipment? This sometimes we are talking about both production and services. Sometimes, yes, we found companies that I need to choose a new ERP, I need to digitalize, and I have vendors that offer me and propose me softwares or equipments. But is that the starting point? Or we have to understand, for instance, which is the data management, the structure of the data, how we have to create the conditions and the solid basement on which all the tools that can be software, hardware, technology, equipments can properly work. Another experience is, and that we discover, and we will see, are let me say, people that are involved. We know that we need a large group of stakeholders that must actively participate to the 4.0 conversion. Are this picture, let me say, clear? Are they being involved? Because sometimes there are roadblocks. I want to do something, but I don't have the stakeholders properly involved or the stakeholders that make it possible working with me. As well as in the internal organization, companies are considering the organization impact, how the organization will change, how the organization will need to change. What does it mean in terms of skill development? Do the company are aware that they need new skills that probably are also very difficult to find, and probably we'll see also through the CipherGate what does it mean to have this type of tools and the proper skills in the company. The last but not the least is we are doing this because we want to have new technology. Are we working for technology, or is the technology working for our business? This is seems very strange, seems a paradox, but it's like that. Sometimes we have people, we have big project in the company, in our customer, where the people work to make the technology that can properly work, but they are asking themselves, the technology is working for my goals, for my targets, or I am just working to have the technology properly operating. So these are very, very important. I would like if here we can see the answers together with this view, because if we can you share, Carola, the...
It's already sharing. You just need to click again on
okay.
maybe you iconize it. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So...
Or you want me to reshare it?
Please.
Yes.
Because we close it up.
Okay. Wait.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So...
Do you see them now?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So here it is very interesting because we see that, for instance, customer service is an important area that you highlighted, but there is the Pareto, and the different areas are very, very, very interesting, as well as we have roughly at the same level the process improvement and manufacturing. So the area of internal efficiency as well as product and service development. So if you think that we've seen that the product and service development can work together with the customer service, these two areas together contributed, for instance, to have a better performance in terms of increase of market share, or better performance in terms of revenue and increasing our business. From the other end, together with the marketing, I see that is 32%. So I think that the response is very, very interesting. It's a good balancing, but for sure, we can understand, and we thank you for this interesting, let me say, answer that the area of business development can be very, very impacting. And it is true. 4.0 journey can help this a lot. The second question, how well does your company data collection system meet your need? This is very, very interesting too, because again, seems that we have fortunately a positive, the positive response is better than the negative one. So almost 70% is fine or well, and not very well, but positive, and only badly can be a minor in minority. So this is promising from some standpoint, but for sure we have also to understand, and then we will discover on the next steps, if we are aware about not only data collection, but data management, what we need, what is the possible failure, and what are the possible risks. So thank you very much. I will release the the speech to my colleague Marco Brozzetti that will move forward, and we will move forward with the first step that will majorly focus the methodology and how to approach a proper path for the digital transformation. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Gianluca, and welcome everybody once again. I'm Marco Brozzetti, and I'm the Innovation Manager of New Value Group, and we're going to start speaking about strategy. So unfortunately, I'll start again with another chart, but I'll promise I'm gonna get soon to some examples. But this concept that you are seeing now is very important, is the concept of return of investment capital. So all our effort in our companies has to be driven to the willing to increase return of investment capital. But what we see actually is that usually company follows two strategies. One is the strategy of automation. Strategy of automation through economies of scale is increasing the return, the profits of the company, but it requires a huge investment. And as a measurement of the return of capital invested, these don't really change the figures. So we are still roughly to the same level as before. The same happens with the other strategy we can have, that is obsolescence, where we usually let our capital, our assets depreciate, and so the profit decrease, but also the capital that we invest decreases. So the overall effect is still to have a return of invested capital that is roughly the same. What we are proposing, what should be the right strategy, is the strategy that is joining Industry 4.0, lean manufacturing, and also circular economy together. Why so? Because this allow us to take the best of these three words and get out from this shape curve of ISO ROIC. With this approach, we can increase our profit, but also being more flexible, we can reduce the investments actually that we are doing. And in this way, we can increase our marginal profits. So let's go a bit more through this concept, and let's see why it's so important to integrate different approach. Here in this slide that is conceptual, once again, I'm showing the effect qualitatively that we can have by following different approach together, different approaches that are integrated. So the new approach of the Industry 4.0 with sustainability and lean and WCM can have an effect that overall overcomes the single effect of the parts. Let's see it how. So let's imagine that in our company we are doing a process of continuous improvement represented by the red line, and also introduce an Industry 4.0 path. So studying the best approach for Industry 4.0. What can happen if we go together, if we merge these approaches? We can benefit, each one can benefit from the other. How? For example, we can increase the effect of the benefits of Industry 4.0 thanks to WCM. How? We don't digitalize wastes. We know, thanks to lean manufacturing, where are the wastes, and we can avoid to digitalize, to automatize these wastes. Then after, we can know better what to measure, and if we measure better, we can improve better. So we see that there is a positive effect on Industry 4.0, but also we can the systematic approach, the lean and WCM approach, can benefit from the Industry 4.0 because we can have a reliable source of data because we are digitalizing, and also we can have some shortcuts on reducing waste. So the overall effect is that we can see that the benefits overcome the benefits of the two approaches separated. And this creates a competitive advantage for the companies. But let's see it practically with an example, how this can happen. So I'm going to show you here the one application that we implemented with one of our clients, that is an automation of a Mizusumashi. A Mizusumashi is a system that allows to bring material to the production line with a pull logic, so reducing wastes a lot. We automatized that, so we introduced an automation, but an automation that brings mostly value added. We didn't over-automate the system. We automated just what we needed. In this way, we can obtain an effective automation that is also inexpensive. And this automation can keep all the values of pull scheduling. So if now you think about my previous diagram that I show, this is the way how we can get out from the curve. This is the way how we can increase our invested capital. And here a short video that shows how the system works. So this is our system assembled on an AGV that is bringing the material to the production lines. So the process is completely automated, but the automation is, I want to say cheap. Cheap, why? Because the return on investment is less than 1 year. So we can get benefit immediately, and we can get fresh money to improve even more with other investment. And this virtuous cycle is improving the whole business. So as you can see, we are delivering the material automatically with simple automation and collecting the empties. And this flow that has been made usually by operators can be automatized, and we can get operators to do more additional value-added activities. So basically, this is one way to achieve this integration. There are many others. And this is the second step. So what you have seen there, it's a prototype. We evolved with the second generation of this solution, and our client was so happy to buy also the second one. Now I'm going briefly through our steps for digital transformation, our systematic approach that we are introducing. But I don't want to speak about these steps now. I want to just highlight one thing, one important thing, one important technology that is interesting all these steps, all these 8 steps, that is cybersecurity. Why I want to speak about it now? Because it's transversal, as you can see. And if somebody of you knows the key enabling technologies that are coming from Industry 4.0, I can say that the most important is cybersecurity. To explain you why, just I'd like to report here some sentences that are speaking about that. One is from Robert Mueller, the former director of FBI, that is saying there are only 2 kinds of companies, those that have been hacked and those that will be. So it's sort of like an avoidable thing that is happening. So it's a bit a scary message, but no worries. Somebody else took care about improving it a bit. So I'm speaking about John Chambers, the CEO of Cisco, that is saying there are just 2 kinds of companies: those that have been hacked and those that they don't know, basically. So these are a message, again, a bit scary. Maybe the best way to treat this topic is from tackling it from a different point of view. And now I'm giving the floor to Enrico Fazio, that maybe can explain this concept a bit better.
Yes, thanks. So what I will do is to tell you a story about cybersecurity and how to protect in a non-technical way, just to analyzing how money went in this case. And so that we can see in the present history how these issues can be managed, not only with technical protection, but mainly by this and also by insurance. So I hope you see my screen. So my paper is dealing with the cyber arsenal. So what happens when there is cyber arsenal stolen by the hackers, and what it is in the present past, in the close past, happens for the Ukraine war. So who pays the reimbursement damage caused by a government virus? So you know that nowadays are available a lot of cyber insurance that are a very good solution to protect the enterprises. But what can happen if the problem is generated by something that has been created by a government? So this story is dealing by this. What happens in the late 10th, so more than 50 years ago, that NSA, that is the intelligence agency of the US, and that is working for the cyber protection and cyber attack of the government of US, has been hacked, let me say. So Eternal Blue exploit, that is an exploit for Windows that has been developed by the government agency, has been stolen. So it means that this important exploit is now went in the wrong hand. So it has been generated to eventually attack the enemy during war, but as a matter of fact, this weapon went in the hand of people that wanted to hack. So immediately, journalists, newspapers, and all the public society made a question to NSA, stating how it is possible that you build a weapon and now we had the problem because of your weapon. So we paid with our money your development and now we have the issues because of this. So the answer of Admiral Rogers is here. So he's making the example as when the terrorists went on a Toyota pickup with the explosive inside. And so the problem was also created because the capability given by the Toyota pickup has been exploited by the terrorists, but nobody is going to give to ask the reimbursement to Toyota. Anyway, this is not exactly the same. What happens is explained here. So the origin is Eternal Blue, so the code that was developed by NSA, and from Eternal Blue, two big branch of hacking was created by the bad ones. One is WannaCry. I know most of you will remember what happens with WannaCry. That was an attack by private that went spread out in all the world, and a lot of issues has been caused in UK, also in the hospitals, because you know when you spread the virus, you do not know where it ends. So there was dead people because of this WannaCry. The other branch is NotPetya. That is also worse than this, because it has been developed by Russian intelligence agency during the Ukraine war. So at the end, this is the results. We pay the money for the government. They develop a virus because this is a weapon in this world, in the digital world. And then the results is that this weapon is against us. So the citizen get problem because of what they made. So this is the summary. The hackers are not only the nerd that work in the garage, because also an intelligence agency of all the world work to build the virus. A zero-day exploit, meaning an exploit, so a vulnerability of the system, just discover and not know by anybody else, is an enormous value, millions of euros. The problem is that these weapons can be stolen much easier than stealing a physical weapon, and this was demonstrated by what I stated before. And unfortunately, when it has been stolen, nobody understands that it happens, because probably they didn't know it was stolen, and you just realize when it comes in action, and the results are terrible for everybody. But now, fortunately, luckily, we've got cyber insurance. And so this is what happens with NotPetya. Merck, most of you know Merck. This is a company working in pharma and making more than 40 billion of euros of revenue per year. So very important. They had this attack by NotPetya in all their plants all around the world, and they waste money for more than $300 million. So this is dramatic. This is Ken Fraser, that it was the CEO of Merck at that time, and he was for sure very afraid about these issues, but a few years before he subscribed an insurance for cyber. So he said, okay, we have got these big issues. Luckily, we will have the money back because I've got insurance. And this is a surprise. The insurance doesn't want to pay. Because they say this attack is not a standard cyber attack. This was an act of war because this virus was Petya, made by GRU, that is military intelligence of Russia, and was spread during the war of Ukraine in 2014. So the results is that Merck has got a plant in Ukraine. So this plant has been infected. They didn't have the control of the whole network. So they didn't know if this virus was spread inside through the world to the other company, to the other plants. And this was what happens. And the insurance said, okay, you have been attacked. So you have been attacked by an act of war. So it is not covered by the insurance. And more than this, the enormous damage you had is due to your not perfect management of the net. So this, for summarizing, to get back to the cyber tranquility, as I stated before, we are not giving you terrorist information, but giving you solutions. So for sure, for insurance, for the company and enterprise, cyber insurance is necessary, but is not sufficient. It is important to manage the network, to know exactly what is happening between the one plant and the other ones, to manage the information going from one side to the other. And our product is going to do also this part. Looking from the other side, for insurance company, you can understand that nowadays, how can estimate the value of an insurance if you do not know how it is exposed? The company is asking for you this insurance, and how big could be the damage. So also for this, the insurance company are selling something that are probably not completely aware. So they need to have subject matter expert, not only in the first part, so in the estimation of the price to be asked to the customer, but also eventually for the estimation of the reimbursement, because since 2 or 3 years, insurance has been frauded, also not only because of false fire of the plant, but also because false attack for the cyber. For example, I can say I lost a lot of money because I am a food factory and have been hacked, and my fridge was blocked for 2 days, so I have to throw away all the food. And this was not true. So once more, this matter of cyber need subject matter expert to be managed for both sides of insurance and of the company themselves. So my presentation is finished, and I leave the floor to Mr. Merlegari, that is going to tell you something probably more interesting concerning the cyber intelligence. So a matter not well explained until today is a market growing and growing. So please, Andrea.
Hello. So in my speech,
sorry guys, it's my turn. I will pass you the word later on, Andrea.
Very good.
Okay. So,
Yes.
however, thank you, Enrico, and let's now let me share my screen, and let's start speaking a bit about our systematic approach to handle the digitalization. So This is the scheme, the diagram that we've seen before. And you can see that we divided the passages of digitalization in steps. Why so? We have an experience in facing methodologies with steps, and we see that the approach divide and conquer always works. Also, dividing the transformation in steps, we can adjust better the method to the needs of the company that we are working with. So let's start speaking a bit briefly about the first steps of the digitalization. Then after we'll see some other applications that are very interesting. And I want to start on step 0, speaking again about strategy, to just fix our mind on the word and understand what is digital strategy. A digital strategy is a strategy first. So it has all the features of a normal strategy. So basically, if we know where are we now, where do we want to be, how can we get there, and how do we know that the path that are following is the right to get there, we have a strategy. Okay, and the same has to be done for the digital strategy. So in the step 0, what we want to do is to speak and understand from our clients what are their needs, where are they now, where do they want to be in order to build the strategy. And this is the key. We cannot start with tools, because as Gianluca showed before, if we start with the tool, then after is the tool that is driving the change, and we can end with something that is not what we really want. So in step 0, what we are doing first, the first thing, we need to understand where are we now. So we do an assessment. So we assess many points. I won't get through those points, but we want to understand where are we from the digital point of view. Where is the company from the digital point of view? And we build the plan, and we want to get to the point that is proper for the company. In doing this, we can build also, understand what are the benefits and what are the costs to get there. So we have a portrait of the situation that is very clear. We frame the situation, and we can go ahead. We can go ahead with step 1. Step 1, we are starting from the data collection. So we want to understand where is the company with data collection, and we want to improve, but what we want to improve. We want to attack and modify the processes to get the information that are worth for the company. And this relate again directly to digital strategy. So we have some tool. Who is familiar with the 5S concept? It's something pretty clear. We call it digital 5S. Basically, we want to explore. It's a basic tool that allow us what data do we measure, what data do we need really for our strategy, and what data we don't need to get rid of it. Okay. Then after, we can use some other more sophisticated tools to tie up the data that are in the company. For example, here I'm showing what we call the value stream mapping on 3 levels. So we start analyzing all the processes that are in the company to find the not value-added activity that can be eliminated or otherwise digitalized, because it's better to digitalize than not value-added activity is not right. But if it's not possible to eliminate it, at least we can transform it in a digital not value-added activity. Then after, we do the same for the data collection, and we want to find and eliminate and digitalize all the wastes that are in the data collection flow. What are we doing now to collect data? What can be done better? Then after, usually in many companies, there are flows of documentation. that we can attack with the same tool, with the value stream mapping. So we can eliminate and digitalize the wastes in the documentation flows. So this is another important tool that we introduce in step 1. And then after, when we set up the proper situation with data, we know what we want to get. We set up a, how can I say, periodical data collection. We move ahead and we build or integrate the MES of the company to get the information that the company needs. So this is basically step 2. So it's a review of the MES and the interface of this the MES with the ERP and with the ICT of the company to have something that is useful. So you see that most companies start from this point, but in the end they get something that they don't want. So we pass some steps to get to the proper tools that the company needs. And here, another tool to understand and structure better the MES is the 5V framework. So we want to basically understand for each piece of information, from each piece of data that we collect, the volume, the velocity, the variety of the data, the veracity, that means how much this data is reliable, and the value of the data for the company. So this is a step further on what we have seen before to build the proper system. Then after, next steps basically tell us what we can do with this data. So first is to setting the proper data collection and to set up an internal exchange of data. But then after we can expand. And here you can see what we can do with the data that we collect, if we collect them properly. This is an application done by one of our partners, and it's a digital twin, a real digital twin. It's something that is replicating completely what happens in the factory in real lives. And what this application can get, what can give to us? First of all, we have a complete control of the core parameters of the machine. So we can do accurate investigation if there are breakdowns or faults, and we can control them better, even by distance. Then after, we have a huge opportunity if we are in optimization, in a lean program, to do risk-free experiments. So we can change layout, we can change machine, we can add and take out machine, we can put some flows in pool, we can experiment and see what happens, quantify the benefit and the cost, risk-free. And this is something that is changing now the way lean manufacturing is done. And this is something that will change the world of manufacturing and all the companies, because this approach can be applied to even to services in the future. Now, I've spoken about the first 3 steps, step 0, 1, and 2. And we're speaking about something that is inside the factory. But we need after to get outside of the company. We have a structure that allows us to do that. We are speaking about the basic integration, vertical and horizontal integration. But what is our final target is to get to what is called a system of systems. So a system that is within and out of the company that put in through communication, not just the part of the company itself, but also the, for example, the products that become smart products, and it's connecting the company with also the customers, the current customer through the value chain, but also the potential customer. And also the service can be beneficial for that. To achieve this very challenging objective, we need advanced tools. One tool that I'm introducing now, one key technology, calling it a tool is a bit reductive, is the decision intelligence or continuous intelligence. that is a technology that can allow us to achieve this integration. And with this word, I'm turning it over to Andrea Melegari, that will speak a bit better about this technology. Thank you.
Hello. So in my idea, in my next 10 minutes, I will describe you our experience in creating a system for supporting decision. And specifically, the goal is to answer to the big question we all have. So should we let AI decide for us? What is a concrete signal from the latest version of artificial intelligence is that we can rethink the way we make decisions. Artificial intelligence offers many opportunities, and specifically the possibility to apply decision augmentation process can really improve the efficiency and the efficacy of our decision-making process. What is the goal? The goal is to put together sensors, events, algorithms, and artificial intelligence to create a continuous intelligence process in using a different thing. We would like to create the enterprise nervous system. It's a very good example for giving you the final goal of this type of approach. When we talk about continuous intelligence, and specifically decision augmentation, it's really important to differentiate two different types of algorithms. Everyone knows predictive. Predictive algorithms can offer us future outcomes. We are always talking about probabilities, and you know the technology is working very well, but again, predictive is also very correlated to possibilities, probabilities. Another important aspect that is less known is prescriptive analytics. So prescriptive analytics is something that is suggesting us actions. So predictive means talking about the future. Prescriptive means about talking about the things we have to do. And in this specific situation, Gartner can help us for drilling down in this type of concept with a very concrete example. This is the recent AI use case for digital commerce. And if you consider the top of the picture of the pyramid, you see that price optimization, keyword search, and product recommendation are three interesting elements that are part of the process that characterize digital commerce: awareness, evaluate, purchase, and post-purchase. So for starting from this point, we have implemented Kipo, our decision intelligence software platform, for giving you a real example of what means supporting decision making. We are talking about a decision augmentation. This is very important, a very important concept. Decision augmentation means that the technology can perform without human activity, the observe and the orient phases, and then can support decision. The action will be always performed by human beings. Okay, so in the decision augmentation paradigm, it is very important to understand what the technology can automate, support, and what is the role of the human being, which is action. Kipo can put together different signals different data, can create information, and specifically can create knowledge for giving you a real-time dashboard where you can take a look at the different KPI coming from, again, from all different sources we have to monitor. And again, the concept of the nervous control system is very useful for understanding what Kipo can offer. And this is the example I want to show you. Think about the digital commerce, think about you are Audi, and you want to monitor not only your key performance indicator, but also the other automotives producer key performance indicator. And specifically, in this example, we are considering what we can define leading and quality KPI, and we want to compare the emotions, so recommendation, the popularity and the ranking coming from the most important search engine with concrete results. So the monthly sales report that you can get. What Kipo uses is the Gartner process for creating support combined with analytics and AI algorithms for creating a prediction and prescription. This is the final results, okay? Think about the possibility to take different sources and monitor in real time which are the emotions, the positive emotions, not the sentiment, the emotions. We will go deeper about this concept very soon. The emotion, the popularity, and the ranking coming from, for example, for searching a hybrid car using Google. And we compare the key KPI in the dashboard with some scorecards you can see here that are real results coming from the monthly sales report. And as you can see here, we can immediately understand when we read a green figure that we are okay or we are not so good when you read the figures. What is interesting is that you can always drill down and you can understand the specific details about what is going on. But the most important point is that combining the AI algorithms, we can produce automatically a recommendation. So what you see here is the result coming from the algorithms that are using what-if analysis and optimization techniques in order to suggest a specific action you have to put in place. It is very important to stress the concept that we can use AI for supporting our decision, but we must understand how AI works. This is the reason, because explainable artificial intelligence is really a key concept in this phase of the project. And what you can see here is that you can always understand why we have produced a specific KPI. You can drill down and you can also understand the different list and positioning of the different emotion you can see here, and what is the combination of each emotion with the different car producer. And it's very interesting that for giving you the complete visibility of how the algorithms work, it is always possible to understand that in this specific text, we find out an emotion about modernism because we find out a specific paragraphs where you can read this type of message. This is completely automatized by natural language processing that you can implement in this type of analysis. Conclusion. The role of the technology and the role of the data are the same. So the technology must support human capability, and the data can reduce uncertainty. What we can say is that for complex decision, we are not able now to think about what is considered decision augmentation. So a scenario where the technologies are part of the process, but the human being will be the final decision maker. And finally, coming from our experience and the feedback from different customers that are using our solution, decision augmentation can really support you and can create a significant differentiator for giving you more capability for supporting your tactical and strategic decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for your presentation, for your contribution. And actually, thank you everyone once again, all the speakers, Gianluca, Marco, Enrico, and Andrea, once again, for this interesting topic. I think it's now time to open the floor to the Q&A. So I don't know if there is any questions among the attendees who would like to ask our speakers. They would be very happy to answer to anything. Just feel free to, as I said before, key in the Q&A here below in Zoom. And I want to remind everyone that this recording will be uploaded on ICCS website under the video gallery section. So you can go there and rewatch it again. If you lost something, you need to get more information, you can easily go on our website. And I think the speakers will be very happy also to share their slides, I guess, after the presentation, right? We can also send it after to all the attendees. So let's just see if there are, you've covered quite a huge content so far. You've been, expressing and presenting actually quite of a lot of interesting points, and you covered quite a lot. So let's see. There is actually a question coming. So the question saying, what is the limit for AI utilization, regulations, management of position, technology itself? Who would like to reply to this? Can you see also can you read it?
I'm sure Andrea can reply to that, but let me just add one very important thing. The first limit is our conception, our mind. I mean, we have to be careful when we use AI, because AI is doing exactly, and this is the huge risk, exactly what we ask them to do. We ask it to do. So if we ask the wrong thing, or maybe we don't understand that we are asking the AI the wrong thing, is gonna do the wrong thing. Then there are plenty of examples of that, but just a few words on that. But I will leave the field to Andrea and Enrico to complete such.
So in a very summarized comment, I will say that it is fundamental remembering that for creating an AI application, you need data, the right data, you need the right algorithms, and you need the right process. So if you don't have the data, the right data, okay, when I say the right data, I mean the right amount of data, the right type of data you can use for supporting the machine learning algorithms. If you don't have the correct and the proper algorithms, and we have a plenty of different AI algorithms for machine learning, deep learning, and so on, but mainly you have to really follow very strictly the process of combining data with algorithms. That means trying to train the machine learning system, testing the model, value the result, and then if the results are not good, you have to start again with a different data set of data or different algorithms. So data, algorithm, and process, and obviously think about that decision automations and decision augmentation is something that you can cover, but sometimes it's so important to limit the AI support to decision support. So when you have a chaotic or very complex situation where you have to decide, the only thing that AI can offer you is decision support, not decision automation or decision augmentation.
Thank you, Andrea. Enrico, would you like to add something?
Well, yes, I fully agree with what stated by Andrea. It is very clear it was one of the few that working on this matter since 20 years. What we do on this frame is to work with the customer. As you know, we can put technology. We have got the analyst. We have got the people working on language, so linguistic people. But sometimes we do not have the expert on the market. So what we do is we develop the project in 1 or 2 months with the expert of the customer, because we design with them what should the artificial intelligence do. So we ask them, we collaborate with them, and side by side, we jointly develop the right artificial intelligence with the subject matter expert of the customer.
Thank you, Enrico. I think all of you replied quite fully to the question. There is actually another one that says, cybersecurity. What is the current size of fraud globally? Are regulations, banking, legal, international cooperation, case and investigations up to the problems, or there is more we could do?
Well, the size is the more interesting thing. Since 2018, in the bad market, let me say, the cybercrime get a value higher than the drugs. So you can understand that that dimension is incredibly big, and the crime in this frame is no more only one people getting hacking. So they have got a team very well organized, where there is the developer, the one that study the market, the one that study the attack, and so on. So the dimension is huge, is very big. The problem is there. We have got the instruments, so are available the instrument and the competencies. Legislation is very important. So also in this frame in Europe, we have got a very well focalized activity. So the laws on this matter are very precise. And for all critical infrastructures, there is a law in Italy and in Europe that oblige all the owner of this critical infrastructure to be protected by software, process, and competencies that are at a certain level. So you are obliged to do. So the question is very proper, and I agree. There is not only the need of being informed, but there is the obligation to be informed and to be defended when you have got in your hand something that is important for the nation at all.
Thank you, Enrico. Is there anyone who want to add something to this question? Andrea, for example, or Marco?
We confirm. It's
not from our side, was quite complete.
Yes, absolutely. It was exhaustive enough.
So let's move on to the next one. People in digitalization. What are the critical people factors in an organization to consider to have a successful transformation?
So we can, Gianluca Anguzzo speaking. Thank you for the question. This is very, very topic question. It's a very, very top level question, because impact the full journey, as we told since the beginning. Basically, we cannot talk only about the people inside the company, but as was in the question, the people factors. So the people factor, the first thing is that the big effort at the strategic level that and also the big difficulties that we have to imagine a world that does not exist, in most of cases does not exist in our actual experience. What does it mean? It means that imagine that we are leading a company, but and we have to understand how the digitalization and the new revolution coming for the fourth industrial revolution can work for our strategy. The problem is that most of the benefit, most of the potential and the advantages are unknown. So the people are not properly prepared since the higher level. Then if we go down, we break down which are the factors that impact people at also the lower level of the organization, we have a low level of awareness, also because we don't have the skills. So the people don't know how it works, and which means that don't know what we can ask, what we can realize from and we can achieve thanks to a digital transformation. So this is the reason why in our methodology, we start from strategy, the strategy of the company, because that is something that everyone can know. Then we can combine this with the digital strategy. As Marco was explaining, digital strategy first is a strategy, then is a digital. What does it mean? I have a strategy, despite I have a digital clear in my mind. Then on the strategy, we can understand how digital can work for us. And then we can understand even more. There is a part of the strategy that I can build up if I get digital. And this factor is not so easily catch up by the top level and the top management as well. So there are, this is a key point, because we have to start to work from this level since the beginning. So when we plan the strategy and we plan the program for the digitalization, and then after that, there are the journey is a step-by-step need to be deployed and need to be reinforced to better understand what happened at all the level of the organization and what the people need. And the other big area of factors, as was mentioned by the person that addressed the question, is the lack of skills. And sometimes in many places, in Italy especially, we don't know which are the skills. So today we are talking about some tools, but behind these tools there are skills. If we introduce cyber security, if we introduce cyber intelligence, and we bring these tools into the company, how the skill of the people in the company has to be. Of course, they will not be specialists on these tools, but they need to know something. So this is a completely new frontier to be discovered. And so there is a huge amount of job to do on that.
Thank you, Marco. I think you've covered like everything. I don't know if any one of you would like to add something, but I don't know, Marco.
Yeah, I want to add that, as Gianluca said, involvement and communication is very important because people may not know the tools, the technology, but for sure they know the needs, and we need to start from the needs, and that's why involvement and communication is a key factor. Yet in 2021,
we have been doing this webinar also, no, to bring awareness, as you were saying. So if there's no other reply on this, we can just move to the last question since we already exceeded 1 hour. Last question saying, what is the most obvious impact of raising e-commerce volumes on supply chain management? Who would like to reply to this?
Well, I try to give one of the answer possible. Having an integrated line on ERP going from the supplier to the customer is a very, very good thing in terms of process, because it's real digital transformation that is different by digitalization. Nevertheless, it enlarges the perimeter of attack of the hackers, because you can understand that your suppliers can have access from the web to your ERP, so to the management system of the company. The same applies for the customers. So it means you have to be better protected.
Thank you, Enrico. If we can add something, Gianluca speaking, this is a very well focused answer. And we can add also that recently we are using the digital strategy to, of course, not only to run digital programming, starting from this point. And one thing, especially in this time where COVID has so violently hit business in many industries, many markets, many companies are arguing how the business model will change or how the business model has to change. This is something that, okay, is even larger than e-commerce only. But for instance, how which will be my customer? Is the same I have before? He will buy and look for my product or my service in the same way. And here we can have the argument of the e-commerce. And related to this, is good that in the question was mentioned also the supply chain management, because we are redesigning the strategy for a very big fashion brand, where we start from the model, the business model, and then as soon as we have set the strategy for the new business model, how the customer and what the customer will buy and in which way, how, then we will accordingly redesign the supply chain management. So how the supply chain will serve the new customer in the new business model. And for this is totally crucial to use a digital strategy and a digital architecture where, for instance, decision intelligence has a key role.
Thank you.
Can I add just a little thing on that?
Yep.
Okay, the impact of e-commerce. If the supply chain is well designed for a company, there are just positive impacts, because in the end, e-commerce is shortening the lead time between the purchase and the money that the company will get. So it's just beneficial. The key, as Gianluca said, is to have a good supply chain management and a good design of the whole supply chain, and maybe a redesign if necessary.
Thank you, Marco. Well, I think we could find maybe a couple of minutes to reply to this last question, because I think it's interesting. You can maybe, like, since it's a bit long, maybe you can also have a look while I read it, so maybe you can follow better. So he's asking this question. You mentioned the link between WCM and Industry 4.0 and different steps for digital transformation to lever the program and results. Is the digital transformation steps used as an extension and done in parallel to support WCM program, or directly integrated in individual WCM pillars roadmaps? Who would like to go first?
I think this can we...
From my side, sorry, I think that this is a wonderful idea, and the things we can say with cyber intelligence, digital intelligence, for sure we can feed the world-class manufacturing with the feedback from the customers directly by analyzing the feedback from the field, let me say. So we can understand what is going wrong directly without making analysis further.
Thank you, Enrico.
Thank you.
Gianluca, you would like to add something, right?
Yes, this is for us is our homeland. Of course, we are WCM. New Value is a WCM official partner since the beginning of WCM Association, so we know this topic very deeply. And we were asked by CIM 4.0, which is the competence centers in Turin, the biggest one in Italy, to develop some training courses that explain the new frontier that combine WCM with Industry 4.0. We have developed for this especially two workshops, one that is on WCM and intelligence, artificial intelligence, and one on the WCM and the connection to the XR, so the virtual reality, cross reality in general. So it's a very, very interesting question. Here we have two sides. The first side that the question I want to focus is basically the impact of methodology, how the methodology in world-class manufacturers can change and has to change to properly and effectiveness use the benefit in 4.0. And typically, in WCM, we have many pillars that for sure are aimed, are targeted to produce results. Here we can have an upgrade, a methodological upgrade that step by step for each pillar consider what we have to do to build up. As in the digital transformation pillar illustrated by Marco, we have to prepare, for instance, the data structure and the application on the tools step by step. Of course, each pillar needs its own type of digital transformation. So it is a big job, a very interesting job of redesign of each pillar. This can be which means that the pillar structure remain the same, are transformed. We have a sort of phantom methodological that integrate, that combine the 4.0 topics and principles inside the existing step of the WCM methodology. The other one is to have, in addition to this, eventually a special pillar. Because why this? Because in the WCM, the pillars are very vertical, especially the technical one. So what we need is to have a strategy, and the existing pillars in the WCM cannot perform the strategy for a digital transformation. So these need a cross-functional and corporate strategy pillar, which can be the digital transformation one illustrated by Marco. I can leave the floor to Marco that can add for sure very interesting points.
So I will just say that the short answer is we need both. So we need both to act on the pillars. For example, also the company that already developed a path with the WCM, and there are some technologies, some tools that seems to be made to improve the effect of the WCM pillars, but we also need, as Gianluca said, a transversal approach. For the company that want to start, for example, with the digital transformation, and WCM, the lean will follow, but also for the company that already have WCM to attack and change the strategy and be more transversal and help also the technology in the pillar to communicate better.
Thank you, Marco. Well, we could, I think, spend more time talking about this topic, which is extremely interesting, but I think it's now time to end our conversation here. And thank you once again to the speaker, Enrico, Marco, Gianluca, and Andrea. Thank you for making this happen. And just want to remind all of you that the PDF also with the slides will be shared along with the link to the recording in our upcoming newsletter that will be launched on the first days of May. So you will be receiving like the details via email. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.